Thanks for that introduction, Rob, and g'day everyone. My name's Daniel Carl, and I'm a Nuffield Scholar from Weewa, the cotton capital of Australia. In 2014, my family's farming operation near Weewa was presented with the opportunity to expand, and we effectively doubled in size. Over the last 4 years, we've been working on developing a management structure that shares the responsibility and workload between upper and middle management and our farmhands. The difficulty we've faced in filling the roles within that structure has been in particular with those of middle management, and that's been the inspiration behind my Nuffield research. Throughout the Nuffield Scholarship, what I've found is that the missing middle in agriculture labour forces is not a trend unique to our operation, the cotton industry, or Australian agriculture in general. As on-farm roles become more multifaceted and require a higher skill set, it's the middle management role that's the most difficult to fill. A couple of thank yous. The Nuffield Scholarship's been a fantastic opportunity to learn more about how we can address this issue. And it's taken me from wheat fields in Mexico to cotton fields in Greece to giving lectures in Dutch universities. My thanks to Nuffield Australia for presenting farmers with the fantastic opportunity the scholarship presents. Thanks also to the Cotton Research and Development Corporation and Cotton Australia for supporting a scholarship each year. Your investment in the people of our industry is vital. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity you guys have presented me with. Quick thank you to our team at home, and particularly my father James and brother Sam. The timing of my travel last year, which my priorities are pretty well sorted out, it was mostly to make sure I didn't miss too much rugby, meant that I missed out on cotton picking and planting, and not only did they look after my job as well as theirs during those peak times, they also let me have a job when I came back. Lastly, thanks to my partner Kate, who joined me on my individual travel and effectively became my PA. She jumped in head first, was taking notes and pictures and all that kind of thing during meetings, so I could concentrate on trying to get the best out of each meeting, and I'm an extremely fortunate bloke to have her around. The future of work is going to be in thinking jobs. Moving forward, in a world heavily influenced by data, automation and technology, and less by manpower, participants in the agricultural workforce will need core skills in STEM subjects and have the ability to adapt and problem solve. It's a common challenge that we all face to source appropriately trained and skilled personnel for our farms. And we're all pretty used to short-term seasonal fixes, but the time involved in this and the financial cost in constantly inducting and training seasonal staff that then move on is a strain on businesses, and ultimately as well gets in the way of potential long-term prospects being able to move through their careers. The growing disconnect between urban and rural also impacts on people's perception of farming and on the potential career prospects someone with an interest in agriculture might place on the industry. So in an attempt to try and address this issue, the objective of my Nuffield research was to research programs, methods and strategies used to attract, upskill and to an extent retain participants to the agricultural workforce in order to develop a pathway to both attract and develop candidates towards a career in farm management. Not long after receiving the scholarship, I was sitting at home, flicked on the telly, and I was sort of, trying to think how my research might look, and this episode of The Big Bang Theory was on.
Sheldon, you're always saying how much smarter you are than me. Spend 5 seconds and come up with one idea on how to get more women into science.
All your ideas address the issue at a university level. By then it's too late. You need to design an outreach program that targets girls at the middle school level and sets them on an academic track towards the hard sciences.
That's actually good. Why didn't I think of that?
So I guess I'm Leonard. An urban youth research survey conducted by Rabobank found that 77% of city-based teenagers in Australia knew little to nothing about food and food production, while 17% had never set foot on a farm. An NFF survey suggests that 83% of Australians felt that agriculture had little or no relevance to their lives. This proves an urgent need for agriculture to be promoted nationally as an exciting, high-tech industry vital to Australia's economic future, to reverse the misconception that it's a dull, outdated sector of the past. As Sheldon says, we need to start them young. During my time in the US, I learned of outreach programs that allow students to build their perceptions of a career in agriculture based on their own experiences. Many universities that we visited had programs encouraging kids to participate in ag, and of course nationally the states have the 4-H program. These programs ensure that young people are able to develop a more realistic understanding of agriculture. Mary Willis, who I'm pictured with there at Fresno State University, said that by demonstrating the variety of roles in agriculture and how the role of farmer has changed, young people can look at ag as an industry that's more than just sows, cows and ploughs. Also in California, we spent time with Elizabeth Giannini, who's on the left, in that photo there on the left, from the Plant Foundation. Their organisation puts together and promotes their Farm Academy Live virtual classrooms, which meet the curriculum requirements, and use agriculture as the vehicle through which teachers can deliver STEM modules of science, technology, engineering and maths. By teaching STEM through agricultural examples, the program creates a link between the science and technology of agriculture and the science and technology of everyday life. Agriculture requires more people entering the industry at the start if we're going to have more people coming out the other end as our future farm managers. If we can get them started on a path and they develop an interest in agricultural fields, they're going to be choosing subjects that will benefit them on that path and ultimately choose a career in farming and agricultural management. Agriculture as a whole needs to consider the potential for programs such as Plant's virtual classrooms to influence how schools deliver their curriculums and advocate for the adoption of such programs in Australia's education systems. The next step is to give those children who've been attracted or engaged by agriculture a head start and set them on a path towards farm management. In Holland, Bert Didden, who I'm pictured with there at Sittard College, explained to us how the Dutch education system allows students to progress from agricultural high schools into the Beroeps Begeleidende Leerweg program, or BBL for the Dutch illiterate. Effectively, BBL is an agricultural apprenticeship combining work with an employer with time spent at a college. Since 2014 in New South Wales, a similar program called Agribusiness Careers and Professions, or AGCAP, has been providing students with the opportunity to undertake a school-based traineeship. It allows students to remain in school through the final 2 years of their education while spending 1 day a week working on site with a local employer. By the end of the program, they've got their HSC, have done 800 hours of paid work and met the requirements for a Cert 2 in Ag. Importantly, what this program does is capture those individuals who have the ability and the intelligence to be managers in thinking jobs, but who may not be academically inclined and don't thrive in a schooling environment. The young fellow on the right there, his name is Jeffrey, and he was employed with us on the back of completing his AGCAP school-based traineeship with Merced Farming. He's a really intelligent bloke, but at the end of year 10 was ready to quit school, just hated it, didn't engage him at all, was bored is really what the problem was. His mum really wanted him to finish, and so he took on this AGCAP thing, finished his Cert 3, finished his HSC, worked straight into a full-time role with us because he was trained, had some experience as well as some new knowledge, and the really positive result is that he really developed a real appreciation for training and what that meant for him and his career. He's no longer with us because he was going so well that Queensland Cotton poached him, and he's now working his way up in management roles with them as an assistant ginner. Having a program like AGCAP or BBL supported and tied to local employers shows students that there's a career path to follow from their schooling to a traineeship to a full-time job with the scope to progress even further. These programs also provide a valuable connection between the employers and the training organisations that deliver the formal accreditation, making sure that we've got an appropriate blend of informal and formal training. In research completed in 2017, Associate Professor Bernice Cote analysed the skills profile and labour structures on Australian cotton farms. As you can see in the table, she found there's 3 main levels that employees fit into: farm hands, farm supervisors and farm managers. Her findings suggested that the necessary qualifications for the middle management role, or farm supervisor, was a Year 12 level of schooling and a Cert 4 level of qualification. By implementing traineeships such as AGCAP, these potential future farm managers can be entering the workforce already a long way down the path towards management, rather than just a career as a farmhand or labourer, and given the head start they need to build a better career in ag. The next step should be then to continue learning whilst tying that new knowledge to experiences gained on farm. A number of universities in Australia recognise the benefits the vocational courses provide and allow students to receive credits towards a university degree. For a future farm manager, it provides the ability to build further on-farm experience following their traineeship while undertaking ongoing qualifications. A specific example of this in that table shows the progression through it is the Bachelor of Agricultural Production and Management at the University of New England. By completing a Diploma of Agriculture through TOCAL, it's possible for 1/3 of the required units to be completed towards the degree. Globally, agricultural colleges and universities are recognising the importance of their students gaining applied knowledge and graduating with a skill set and knowledge base that is relevant to the workplace. We visited Elsenburg College in South Africa, Harper Adams University in the UK, and Ayers Hogeschool in the Netherlands, and all of these institutions recognise the need to have paddock-ready graduates with experience to go with their newly mentored knowledge, and include internship or industry placements as part of their courses. When we visited Ayers Hogeschool, Bram Prins explained that their students must complete their internships in a different country, ensuring broader exposure for their students. He also wrote me into leading some of his classes, as you can see there, so I'm not sure I'd recommend hiring anyone from that particular year group. Finally, the modern farm needs to be able to access specialised training on farm for its future managers. When we met with Dr. Willem Hoffman from Stellenbosch University in South Africa, he told us there's often not the time and it doesn't justify the investment for managers to take on the study of an entire degree or course, but they do require specific skills to meet the increasingly multifaceted requirements of their roles. Having been contacted by farmers needing their managers to develop specific skill sets, Willem's has begun offering short courses on topics such as financial planning. When we visited the Netherlands, Bram Prins had begun to establish an applied master's program for farm managers in the Netherlands. He told us that programs such as this needed to be accessible for farm businesses of all sizes, because it's the capacity of the entire workforce that requires building, and that will involve enterprises of all sizes. At this point, it's worth considering again the skills profile put together by Associate Professor Bernice Coty. The reality is that potential candidates for farm management positions may often not have the incentive or motivation to undertake the level of study to achieve the required skill set for that middle management role. The farm manager role is going to be filled by people who have had the ambition and have gone to university and are coming back, but that middle management role is generally filled by someone who's moved up from a farmhand position. But they're going to need an improved skill set now to be able to fill those roles. Farm businesses also need training to be more specialised and tailored to their businesses, rather than requiring completion of units unrelated to their operation, if they're to encourage employees to undertake such training. Study in other industries and academic fields often provides certification recognising knowledge gained on the way to a higher level of qualification. So in my mind, an associate diploma placed between Cert 4 and diploma level studies has the potential to provide both farm businesses and employees looking to gain the skills necessary to progress to management, while ensuring the study undertaken is relevant to the business, taking advantage of existing short courses in our industry, particularly for grain and cotton at the moment with the Ag Skilled funding. There's plenty of them being provided, and is an achievable amount of study and readily accessible for businesses and managers alike. Importantly, rather than watering down or diminishing the value of the diploma or higher qualifications, an associate diploma has the potential to act as a gateway or entry-level type qualification to continued study and converting the associate diploma to a full diploma. So to wrap up, it's important that the agricultural industry and more specifically the farming sector work collaboratively to address the issue of the missing middle within the available farm workforce. In order to do so, the development of a career pathway starting from a school age is vital in attracting people to a career in farm management. Globally, the programs exist to address the issue of the missing middle, but what is required is for those programs to be adapted, supported, implemented and linked together to create a clear pathway for the next generation of farm managers from school to a rewarding career in farm management. So the recommendations I've made in my report are that the agriculture industry needs to advocate for the development and adoption of teaching packages which use agriculture as the vehicle to deliver STEM subjects in Australian schooling systems on a national level. There's a number of industries that do this off their own bat, but I really think it needs to be a national approach and incorporated into curriculums across the country. We need to be collaborating with existing programs to develop a national outreach program to allow school-aged people to the opportunity to spend time on farm and gain rural experience and appreciation for where their food and fibre comes from. We need to be utilising existing models for school-based traineeships and again, rolling them out nationwide to provide young people with an interest in agriculture a head start on their careers and building of necessary skills, creating a more formalised training pathway and instilling the importance of future education. We need to expand existing programs linking farm businesses with new entrants, providing a continuation of the pathway from trainee to further training. We need to support and advocate further partnerships between our vocational and tertiary educational institutions so we can allow further learning to be tied to hands-on knowledge, hands-on experience, and so that's more readily accessible to more participants and streamlining the advancement of people to farm management positions. And we need to address the difficulty in recognising agricultural skills by developing more targeted and specialised qualifications by which to measure them, while also bringing more achievable specialist learning to the farm. Hopefully my report's not too far away, and I'd encourage you to have a look at it. If you want to get in touch or anything else, that's where the centre of the universe is, and my details are there. Thank you very much.